Hello everybody, Ainz here and welcome back to Overlord Season 4, Episode 6, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not. It is indeed Episode 6, halfway point of this season. And we are already at the lands of the dwarves. And that leads me to wonder what's going to happen throughout the rest of the season. We're gonna meet the dragon, that's for sure. So I'm assuming we're gonna spend like 2 more episodes, including this one, in the land of the dwarves, and then we're gonna move on to meeting the dragon and maybe some other shenanigans. Who knows? In any case, in the previous episode, we finally met. There's a bit of a draft, and it just slammed my door shut. Hopefully, you can't hear that on the mic. Yeah. We ventured into the land of the dwarves where we met a dwarf who's a runesmith, except runesmithing is kind of dying out, so he's a member of a very dying craft, which is not great, especially since Ainz wants to know more about the runes. And especially since I heard they work different than they did in in Yggdrasil, should I say. In Yggdrasil, runes were purely cosmetic, if I'm not mistaken, and here they seem to have some actual properties, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm gonna close my window real quick. And I'm back. We're going to uncover the secrets of runecraft, hopefully. And Ainz already promised to create a whole rune crafting, runesmithing workshop, bring whatever resources are necessary, whatever other runesmiths are necessary, and whatever else is needed for that dwarf to continue the tradition of his ancestors, to continue the craft, which I'm really waiting to see. I love the idea of expanding Nazarick in this way, or rather expanding the Sorcerer Kingdom, right? Bringing all those different factions and groups and specialists and special people, heroes, runesmiths, and so on, into the Sorcerer Kingdom. To basically amass all that stuff that perhaps the rest of the world doesn't particularly appreciate, right? Like, we know that runesmithing kind of fell out of fashion because, sure, it's cheap, but it takes time to craft a runic weapon. But maybe something can be done about it, maybe it can be alleviated, and that can bring all the more power to the Sorcerer Kingdom. I really do love this idea. That's why I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with the dwarves, and I can't wait what's gonna happen with the Adventurers Guild that Ainz established in the capital. In the capital of the Sorcerer Kingdom, of course, not like the capital of Riestes or whatever. What else happened? Albedo and Demiurge got a free hand. I just stopped my recording by accident. That's 2 videos I'm gonna have to splice. Oh well. Albedo and Demiurge got a free reign in how to handle the vassalization of the Empire, so that's giving me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, because those two... oh boy. Oh boy! I wouldn't trust those two with any matters concerning humans, that's for sure. But hopefully it won't end with a complete genocide and decimation of the Empire. They're gonna figure out that maybe Ainz vassalized them instead of conquering them for a reason. They might be useful, the whole country, so hopefully they're gonna hold their horses and they're gonna handle it a little bit more gracefully than just slaughtering all the humans. And of course, in the Dwarven Kingdom, we also met new creatures, a new race of Quokka, Quinoa, something like that. Something starting with Q. They're just dogs, kobolds, a kind of a kobold, because Sometimes kobolds are tiny little lizard men, sometimes kobolds are tiny little dog men. Who the fuck knows what kobolds really are? I'm gonna call them kobolds for now because that's much easier to me. The interesting mechanic is that depending on what kind of metal they eat, their not their hide but their fur takes those properties. So the harder, the stronger metal they eat, the stronger they are and the tougher they are to kill. And they are planning to attack the dwarves, which is no bueno. And they are apparently about to attack the dwarven city because the current one was abandoned and the new one was established. The new city is like 6 days away, and the kobolds are apparently already there. So how are we gonna get there in time? Are we gonna get there in time? And what's gonna happen? Ainz will probably become a savior of the dwarves. I mean, let's be honest here, that's where it's headed. Or maybe he's going to designate one of his guardians as the savior of the dwarves. Perhaps Shaltir. Shaltir is with them. Wouldn't surprise me if Ainz did with Shaltir a similar thing he did with Cocytus, where Cocytus is the ruler of the lizard men and Shaltir would become the ruler of the dwarves. That would be interesting. That would be interesting if that's where Ainz is headed, right? He needs some, I don't know, dark elves, and Aura and Mare become the what's it called? Duarchy? No, two monarchs, two rulers of the dark elves, or something like that, right? That'd be cool. That'd be cool to see if that's where it's headed. Of course, everything for the glory of the Nazarick, for the glory of the Sorcerer Kingdom. And since Ainz plans to trade with the dwarves and figure out their technology, then the kobolds attacking dwarves is pretty much equal to kobolds attacking Ainz himself, and thus they all deserve to die. How will they die? We're gonna see in this episode, but not without your subs. You will need them to synchronize your own copy, and without my sound, I will need it to hear what's going on. And without support, I couldn't do what I'm doing without your support. I mean, technically I could, I'm not earning all that much on Patreon, but it feels better when I say that I couldn't do it without your support. So please do continue supporting me on Patreon through links in the description, or by just sharing my content if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever. It's completely free and really does help the channel, helps it to grow, helps gather more audience. And with all that out of the way, we can start watching episode 6 of Overlord 4 version by subs, please, as usual, in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, Dwarven City under attack. Quagoa. Sure. It sounds almost like quinoa. I mean, cut me some slack. That's a stampede if I've ever seen one. Okay. They're not bad at magic. Gotta give them that. How long will the gates last, though? I'm betting they have something more than just fangs and claws. Again. I love this stubby little lizard. Oh, so Ainz is already here. Okay. I genuinely thought it's gonna take him at least some time to arrive here. Like, I know that Gate can take him to wherever he was, to any place he was previously. I know that they have some powerful creatures they can use to travel. And even if Ainz was just using instant transmission or a blink of some sort, it surely has some, like, distance cap on it. Interesting. I'm curious to hear how did Ainz manage to get there this fast. If they're not gonna explain it in the episode, and it was explained in the light novel, please do let me know. How did he manage that? I absolutely love hearing about the mechanics of Overlord, the mechanics of the spells, world items, and all that stuff. Okay, I can't wait to see that Gundam, and I can't wait to see the Valkyrie white-haired Night Lady. And of course, this dude. Okay, I'm sufficiently hyped up. Okay, Ainz with his whole entourage. I thought he maybe used some magic to get here alone, like really fast, abandoning everybody else, but no. It's Ainz and everybody. No, not quite. I don't think so. Or maybe he is. They're talking about the Quagoa situation, so I guess Ainz has the intel from the Quagoa. The prize is your souls. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Open the gates. That's a proper course of action. Okay, one spell and done. Okay, so they literally just want the minerals. I'm assuming there no longer is the main force. Or maybe it's still there, but not for long. Ainz? Or one of the Guardians? Nope. Okay, what's that? Gargantua? Oh no, it's just a Death Knight. A bunch of them, actually. Yeah, a couple of Death Knights is probably enough. No need to bother Auda, no need to bother Shaltir, let alone Ainz, honestly. No, not quite. That's a strong bridge, though. And that's a cool scene. That's a cool shot from underneath the bridge. Okay, so it genuinely is a very strong bridge. It's not just some hemp rope and some, like, rotting boards. Yeah, it's gonna be for naught. Even if those Death Knights fall and don't climb back up, there's more. There's an infinite amount of them. I'm assuming Lord Ryuro is gonna be a mini boss. I mean, mini boss. He's gonna get clapped instantly, but Okay, what happened? What news did Ainz get? Oh, that's the news. Okay, so Ainz is gonna over-prepare. He misunderstood what happened. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. Sign's gonna head over there personally, or as the High Council? Or Short Council, I guess. This one dude is drunk. Okay, I love how casually Aura sat down. Indeed. Runes. Runic weapons, runic stones. And ores, of course. Makes sense, yeah. Okay. Okay, what's that way against across the Great Chasm? Was that the bridge or? Yeah, and we could maybe even just recapture your old city. Indeed. Okay, Brewmaster, that makes sense. Oh, dragon, you say? That's interesting. Question is it an actual powerful dragon or is it just like a younger wyvern by Yggdrasil standards? He wants an ally. Yeah. Can't exactly ally with the Quagoa. Yeah. Makes sense. Runes and runesmiths. Employees. Won't do. Yeah. I guess being under attack does speed up the bureaucracy. Okay, they're gonna say that runes are useless now, and that wouldn't be a big loss if they just gave away all their runesmiths. That's my assumption. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's either ally yourselves with Ainz or perish. Then not much of a choice, is it? Really not much of a choice. So you're gonna get your capital back. Yeah, they're gonna be allied nations, so there's no reason to just not allow them to travel freely. And labor loss, okay. I guess Ainz isn't gonna be repeating the mistakes that happened in his world, his original world, right? Okay, they all just came to taste Ainz's alcohol. 80% of a dwarf's life is drinking. Okay, thankful for that statistic. Hello, Ainz. Ah, okay, that immediately shut them up. Everybody bow before the liquor. Okay, so those are all the runesmiths. Gotcha. You're gonna be moving. Yggdrasil item. Ah, his trained pose and speech. It's paying dividends. Okay, so there's a limit. Yeah. We're gonna translate what it reads on this item soon. I'm assuming one of the members of his guild created this sword. Say less. Say no more. Everybody's down for that. Absolutely. Tell a craftsman that you want to revive their craft. They don't need anything more. Yep. Very much so. Thankfully, there's a country that very much appreciates it. Yep. Ainz just got a very powerful, maybe not powerful, but a very loyal ally in all of the runesmiths of the dwarves. Yep. That's an amazing moment. Yeah, no half-assed measures. Defending this city? Not enough. Gotta reclaim the capital. Whom? Gondo? Yeah, Gondo. Guess he's gonna stick around. Okay. No, merely a reclamation. And also Gondo is right here, absolutely. Yeah, all the quinoa are dead. Oh, just like that, okay. They didn't have anybody strong enough, that's the thing, Ainz. Notepad? Mm, capture them. Oh, limit your strength. Okay, and Ainz is gonna just keep believing that the Death Knights were defeated. Yeah, think. Of course. So they're gonna go there over prepared and they're just gonna overkill everybody on their way. Or Ainz is gonna keep feeling uneasy about how, uh, yeah, you can just fly over everything. Ainz is gonna keep constantly on his toes because he's gonna think that he never found those super dangerous enemies. Yeah, as simple as that. And also, no more toxic fumes. I thought for a moment that he's just gonna fly over the maze as well, but no. I wonder if the dragon can just be reasoned with. Oh, they changed her face. Or did they? Is it a cut taken from season 1, or is it like newly drawn for this episode specifically? I wonder. Okay, so we're fighting a dragon, or talking to one. What a short episode. I really wanted more. Not in a bad sense, like, make no mistake. Also, it's only episode 6, and I'm already mourning the fact that it has to end. Not gonna lie, I kinda miss the days when having like 80 episodes of an anime was normal, or having those like super long form anime that go and go and go and go and go. Although they had an issue with fillers, and wonky quality, so yeah, it's a balance, right? You can either create batches of 12 episodes once a year or once 2 years or something and have them be of decent quality, or you can continue on a weekly basis and have just Naruto quality of everything, actually. It never had the greatest start, it never had the greatest pacing, so it embodies all the issues with long form, with long running series, I guess. Yeah, if you think about it, Naruto does really embody all the issues with long-running series, doesn't it? Okay, enough about Naruto. Let's talk more about Overlord, and let's watch this episode again, shall we? I especially want to translate the runes on the sword. Enough of them to overpower the magic defense items. Turns out, magic items ain't as great as they think they are. Or maybe the Quagoa found some way around them, or maybe it's just a matter of enough of them marching and going forth and destroying. This is interesting, these watchtowers. They look like stalactites. It's stalagmites on the top and stalactites at the bottom, right? I think so. In any case, they look like the one on the bottom that water drips down onto, except like the kind that's worn down by erosion, so it's no longer a spike but rather a little bit of a bowl. I like it. I like how much it shows how like rock and stone those dwarves are. I love this stubby little lizard. Also interesting that dwarves who just live underground have mounts. I guess you need something to like move long distances, even if you're underground, maybe to some faraway mine or something. So makes sense they would have some pack animals at least, right? Or a mount. I don't think their magical technology advanced enough to create like vehicles, or maybe it did. I don't know. We haven't really seen any examples of like high technology from those dwarves, right? Dwarves are usually portrayed as having some sort of a high technology. Maybe it's as simple as a steam engine. Maybe like factories or something. Those dwarves are very fantasy, very like low fantasy dwarves, not high fantasy dwarves that have steampunk cities and aircraft and train and rails and whatnot. They're very down to earth, pun not intended. Here comes Ainz. Here comes the Ainz, na 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 na. They found out, the Quagoa figured out a way to get across the Great Chasm. I wonder what that way to get across is. And of course, Ainz is correct. Yeah, whatchamacallit, not democracy, the councils take this very sweet time, right? bureaucracy. That's the word I've been blanking on. The bureaucracy takes time, and so the general makes the choice. Also, the general, like in general, seems like de facto king of the dwarves. Honestly, like he's sitting at the short end of the of the table, right? Usually, if everybody is on equal standing, it's signified by a round table, or at least a square where every side is essentially the same, where you have a table that has one person at the top and then two rows of people on both sides. The person at the top is the most important. Like, that's just how it is. So yeah, he is the de facto king of the dwarves. Once we manage to find a way around it. I wonder if the way around it is actually this bridge, or is it something else? What else would it be, though? Some cave system that kind of goes around it? I don't know. I don't know. The chasm seems, while not bottomless, it is deep enough to kill Death Knights. Death Knights took enough fall damage that they died. They were destroyed in the process. How much full damage would that have to be? I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of full damage in Overlord, but probably quite a lot. And the quinoa just want the minerals, because of course they do. I was kind of hoping that they have some bigger reason, some more lofty goals, like I don't know, they're being chased out of the deep underground by a fucking Balrog, or something, or the dwarves encroach on their territory first, and the quinoa are just retaking it. But no, they just want minerals. Dwarves have minerals. Let's slaughter the dwarves. I guess it works, and it also makes them maybe not irredeemable, but makes them more like a mob of monsters rather than like a good and proper society. So it makes it very hard to like reason with them and ally yourself with them, because they act on like the very basic instinct of they have food, we attack them, take food, eat, all's good, right? Here come the Death Knights, and of course the quinoa are nothing for the Death Knights. Absolute nothing, absolute and utter trash garbage. I mean, the quinoa aren't particularly strong either. They're really struggling with collapsing the bridge. Only their leader seems to be strong enough to actually cut the rope. Wow, much strong. Although the bridge must have been reinforced somehow, because Death Knight just stomping on it did absolutely nothing to it, so perhaps it has some, I don't know, steel fiber woven into the ropes or something. Huh. My initial impressions when it comes to the original city of the dwarves, the capital, was that it's very empty and very just nothing. It's just blocks and blocks and blocks and just grey cubes. And I thought it might be because the dwarves just moved out, and so they took away all their either they like took away all their ornaments, or they decayed with time. Maybe there were some flowers growing or glowing mushrooms or something that just died and decayed. Maybe there were some paintings on the walls, right? Maybe the buildings were very colorful, but the paint just decayed and fell off. No, it's just dwarven architecture, it seems. Just cubes. Cubes, 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 and a temple. And nothing more. No, like, art to speak of, no decoration, not even like any statues. Nothing. Nothing, just grey cubes and laundry. Interesting. I guess the insides are a little bit more decorated. Oh, I just noticed it. That's a huge agate slice. Agate, however you pronounce it. I have a couple of them. There was a time when I was going for like every mineral market or whatever you call it, where people just amass in a single place and trade all sorts of like precious or semi-precious gemstones. And I would always buy myself a slice of an agate or some agate geode or something like that. Of course, the ones I have are like this big, right? I think the biggest is like it's like this size. Nothing quite as large as this, but it's cool to see something that's like familiar to me, that I instantly recognize as something that actually exists and can exist because agates do grow this large, and like I don't see it immediately as something, oh, fantasy, stone, colorful layers. Wow, we don't have that in real life. No, we actually do. And those small little slices are actually pretty cheap. You can buy them even on AliExpress or something, and they're still of decent quality, honestly, even those from AliExpress. Death Knights have been eliminated. Interesting that Ainz doesn't know how they've been eliminated. I wonder if Ainz just didn't pay attention, or does he just genuinely not get that information? Because if we assume that all those skills and abilities, and Ainz's ability to like instantly know how much mana he has left or how much range his spells have or whatever, is essentially the mechanic from Yggdrasil simply made real in this world, I would have assumed that the mechanic in Yggdrasil would be that somewhere in your chat log or something, you'd see a message that your summoned Death Knight died to full damage, or your summoned Death Knight was defeated by Quinoa boss level 85, or something like that, and I would assume that carries over, but apparently it didn't, so that's interesting. And of course, Ainz immediately jumps to the conclusion that it was the work of a single opponent. Or did it count the Quinoa redhead boss as the one who killed them because he killed them indirectly by by destroying the bridge? I don't know. And yeah, of course, Ainz immediately assumes that, oh, it might be a player because he is just this cautious. And yeah, it's interesting how where they're gonna go with that. Is Ainz gonna end up just disappointed that, oh, they just fell, and here I was hoping it's gonna be another player. Oh well, you're gonna die now. Or is it gonna be constantly gnawing at him that we slaughtered all the Quinoa and there wasn't anybody among them who could stand up against Death Knights? Who the fuck killed them? And that's gonna be like his, maybe not driving force, but it's gonna continue to be a thing with him that he's gonna be over preparing for. I'm not a huge fan of like misunderstandings. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of misunderstandings driving the story, so I hope it's not gonna become anything big. Or I guess I'm saying I'm not a huge fan of misunderstandings driving the story, and I'm actually a fan of how everybody understood that Ainz wants to conquer the world and constantly misunderstands his words. So I guess I am a fan of it after all. Mm. But yeah, those are like misunderstandings of something that Ainz explicitly said. This is a misunderstanding caused by just Aura deciding to not say anything, which is weird to me, honestly. I don't know why she did that, but she did. Maybe I found the culprit that Brain was Shaltier. Yeah, sure. And of course, we want trade relationship with you, and we want to ally ourselves with you, and we want your equipment. And we're gonna trade you booze and food for that, which, I mean, the dwarves are probably living off like mushrooms and stuff like that because not much food grows underground, I'm assuming. Maybe they have like, I don't know, magical shade apples or something. It's probably mushrooms. It's usually mushrooms when it comes to like underground cities. Uh-huh. Would you accept my assistance? And yeah, we can reclaim the capital, no problem. Really, absolutely no issue for Ainz. He just needs to spawn 10 Death Knights, and that's a Quinoa genocide. Honestly, unless their leader is like really strong and can maybe actually defeat a a Death Knight or two, then yeah, just let some Death Knights loose, and that's it. That's all you need. That's all she wrote. What do you want? He wants, yeah, trade relationships, friendly relations, because again, yeah, they're a race that has a concept of trade that can be reasoned with, that can be allied with. Quinoa, not exactly. And there aren't many races that Ainz can like actually ally with. Goblins, the ones summoned from Yggdrasil, sure. The goblins from this world, the kid goblin seems to have been like reasonable, so maybe the trolls and the ogres also are sentient enough. Are Quinoa? I don't know. Maybe they could be reasoned with, maybe not. I'm not sure, but for sure, out of those two, it's better to create relations with dwarves who can actually create something. The Quinoa seem to just be attacking, killing, and eating, and that's all. So the choice is simple. Quagoa, Quinoa. I'm just gonna keep calling them Quinoa. And yeah, the losing side is of course always more grateful. In this case, it's the dwarves. And Ainz wants runesmiths. Not as slaves, but as actual craftsmen. And of course, everybody was trying to keep their composure, but everybody was scared shitless of Ainz. I gotta, like, commend them, credit where it's due. They really kept their composure in presence of Ainz. They really did. Guy who can drink isn't trustworthy. Are they Eastern European? Are dwarves Eastern European? Because they seem Eastern European. He wants hostages? Not quite. I mean, I understand why it's like the first thing that comes to their minds, but Ainz doesn't want hostages. He just wants to revive an ancient technology, essentially. And yeah, the choice is simple. Ainz just wants something that you're not making use of anyway. Like, the dwarves aren't utilizing their runesmiths, so why not just give them away? Right? Simple choice, really, all things considered. And yeah, you agreed to be our partners, so I'm gonna leave you enough forces to repel the invasion. You also want to hand over all your runesmiths? Okay, then I'm also gonna reclaim your capital. Very fair exchange, very precise, no like whatchamacallit. No like tiny little subscript that some terms and conditions apply and stuff like that. No. Very, very fair, very straightforward trade. We would like to send investigation teams. Again, makes sense. And Ainz understands it. Ainz even likes this idea because, as he says himself, labor standards often fail to protect laborers. And Ainz has experience with that because labor standards in Ainz's original world did very much fail to protect the laborers. Was it like what? From what I heard, I haven't read the light novels, and the manga doesn't flesh it out either. It's like 16-hour workdays or 12-hour workdays or something like that are the standard in Ainz's world. So he probably doesn't want to repeat those mistakes, especially since Herohero-san, as he says, also suffered the fate of being an exploited laborer. I plan to create a labor laws that will impress any visiting dwarves. And also, Ainz understands that there's a saying in Polish. How did it go? Z niewolnika nie ma pracownika, which roughly translates to a slave doesn't make a good employee. Right? If you want an employee who will go to work full of motivation and will do their utmost at going forward with their job, at completing their tasks, they have to be willing, right? They have to actually want to do that. Because if they're being forced to do that, there is no motivation. It's just a must. And those are very different things. And Ainz seems to understand that. And I love it. I really do love the aspect of Overlord, the aspect of creating a nation. Probably my favorite part of the series so far. Honestly. Like, I did enjoy Ainz's shenanigans otherwise. I enjoyed Ainz's shenanigans as an adventurer, as Momon. I enjoyed Ainz's shenanigans as Ainz, right? Fighting and talking to people and destroying nations and stuff like that. But Ainz's attempts at creating a nation, my favorite part so far, honestly. My favorite aspect of the series, should I say, because it's not like an arc, it's an overarching thing that's gonna continue. I'm assuming, I'm hoping. You'll get that after the Sorcerer King finishes his stocks. King has all the alcohol, apparently. Okay, so I guess Ainz did give them a little bit of alcohol to taste, and that's what brought them all in. There's no better lure for dwarves, I guess, than a bottle of good booze. And he apparently doesn't like alcohol. Interesting. He's a dwarf that doesn't like alcohol. And here comes the boy. No need for such noise. Just show them good booze and they're just gonna shut up. Everybody kneel in front of the holy booze. Shaltir is kind of like not overreaching, but she's, over. I don't know what the correct word to use here is. Overstepping just a little bit, not in a negative way. She's not like trying to take the spotlight away from Ainz or anything, but she's overstepping a little, and I like it. I like it because it does show a little bit of character progression. It shows that she can actually progress and develop. Because old Shaltir would just be standing there silently, not having come up with the idea of showing them booze to shut them up. But here we have Shaltir come up with some initiative of her own. I like it. And yeah, everybody is going to the Sorcerer Kingdom. Very simple request, you're coming with me. To develop new techniques. Twapivs. No, wait. Some of those runes are flipped, and some of those make no sense. I'm disappointed. Twapivs. This rune is not an actual rune, it's a combination of Wunyo and Lagus. If. Or from the other side, Fivkbay Bout. I'm disappointed. I really liked how Thorn made sense, was readable. This is gibberish. Why is it gibberish? Do we get like a second look at it, maybe? No, it's the same runes. It's the same runes. I'm disappointed. I honestly am. Damn, that sucks. And of course, how you can recognize a proper craftsman they see something that they cannot achieve, that, as far as they're concerned, is impossible to achieve, they instantly flock towards it. Let me touch it. Let me look at it. How was it done? Jesus Christ, I want to figure it out. Please, just a glimpse, just a glance. Right? I love it. You can really tell that those runesmiths are loving their craft. And Ainz little cringy cringe festival. But everybody was stupefied by it because of course we know how cringe it is. But to everybody else, when it comes from someone like Ainz, it has an effect, doesn't it? Nobody would dare to call it cringe. Is it possible to engrave 20 runes on an item like this sword? Impossible. The best runesmiths inscribed 6 on the Dwarven King's hammer. This is like over 3 times this much. So yeah, it shows the technology. And it was during the great age of runecrafting 200 years ago. So today, with the decline of runecrafting, you can probably get like 3 runes on an item, if not less. Wait, Thorn. Th o r no. 4 characters. Okay, makes sense. So I guess nowadays you can do like up to 4, maybe 5. I don't know. Weapon created through lost technology. Probably. And of course, it was created by one of Ainz's allies, who is no longer with us because he didn't get teleported to this world, didn't get transferred. Ainz wants to rediscover lost knowledge, and of course, everybody is in. Everybody's in. Because of course they are. Because they're real true craftsmen, they're real true runesmiths. They see something unachievable, and they see a proof that it can be achieved, you better fucking believe they're gonna want to achieve that. And if Ainz is the only one who will give them this possibility, they're gonna go with Ainz. Makes perfect sense, and I love it. Gondon? Yeah. Has the Regency Council agreed to send all the runesmiths to the Sorcerer Kingdom? They did. And the realization strikes that they really did give up on runecrafting. They really did. It's not even a consideration, right? Because if they had even some modicum of respect, of need for runecrafting, they would be against it. They would be like, okay, you can take, I don't know, half our runesmiths, maybe the apprentices, maybe you can take like our best runesmith with his apprentices or something, but fucking hell, not all of them. We need that. No, they don't need them. They don't need runesmiths. And I have a feeling they don't know what they're getting rid of. Because I have a feeling that under Ainz's guidance, runecraft can actually become powerful. Especially since in Yggdrasil, they were able to engrave like 20 characters on a weapon, 20 runes. If they go anywhere close to that, if they go to like 10 runes, that would be already a weapon greater than the King of Dwarves battle hammer. Right? It would already be elevated weapon, and it's not even the limit of what runesmithing can do. So they're really getting rid of a golden goose, aren't they? But yeah, Ainz believes in the potential. Even if one country tosses runesmiths aside, another is here to welcome you. Very much so. History of runecrafting has not ended. Your legacy and your forefathers' legacy will continue. And thus, all of the runesmiths just became incredibly loyal to Ainz. Because he's the only one who recognizes their craft. He's the only one who gives them an opportunity to hone their craft. He's the only one who believes in them. That's how we make a powerful ally. That's how we make a loyal ally. We're going to reclaim the royal capital. And of course, Gondo agreed to go there with them. Because who else? And because also Gondo knows of a valuable book about runecrafting. Ulterior motives. And again, Gondo speaks sense. What's the point of this country having a runecrafting book if they don't give a fuck about runecrafting? It would just go to waste. And if you never reclaim the capital, no one would have it, so one way or another it would go to waste. Might as well nib it. Nab it. And of course, Ainz will turn a blind eye. Mass fly, just floating over every single obstacle. I love it. Great chasms that you cannot get over. Mass fly. Fields of lava with fiery monsters. Mass fly. I honestly was hoping that he would also fly over the labyrinth. That it's gonna be like, Gondo says, "Oh, this obstacle, it consumed 20 of our best heroes daily when we were trying to get past." Oh, okay, must fly. I guess that works. Oh, this is the lair of. Okay, must fly. Sure, that also works. I honestly was hoping for that. I honestly was hoping for the whole thing to be more comedic, but I guess that also works. And yeah, Ainz is spinning his wheels about someone potentially dangerous being around. And yeah, don't go full force. Like, portion your power. Don't go all in right from the get go. Makes sense. Ainz's carefulness shows up here. Ainz's cautiousness, right? He still does believe that there are other players around and that there are creatures that can rival players in strength around. I wonder if it's actually the case. I wonder if there are actually other players in this world. I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. When it comes to creatures that can rival Ainz in strength, perhaps the dragons. Perhaps the dragons, but I don't think anybody else. We know of the Godkin, but I don't think Godkin is strong enough either. Maybe if there were like actual deities walking those lands, those deities could give Ainz a pause. But as it is right now, I honestly believe that everybody in this world is on about the level where any random floor guardian can just clap them. Uh, so far, it seems that way. Whether or not it is this way, please don't tell me. I want to figure it out myself. I want to see it on my own, so no spoilers, please, just in advance. And Aura, of course, figured out what's going on. She got shushed temporarily. What were we trying to say? And she just decided it's not worth saying. Why? This seems kind of weird. It does seem kind of weird. Not gonna lie. Like, she got a permission to speak. She got asked, what was that you were trying to say? And she deemed it important enough before? Why does she not deem it important enough now to tell Ainz about it? Kinda odd. Like, I know that it's probably for story reasons that you can justify it by saying, oh, but the story wouldn't go where it's gonna go if Aura just said it outright, but it was never a good justification to me, honestly. Never. We should move forward while guarding ourselves from a possibly strong enemy. Red hot sea teeming with magical beasts. Yeah, just fly. I love it. Labyrinth of Death, we can just fly through here. Numerous splits that lead to your death. Poisonous vapors, but of course, the undead aren't affected by it. Those two get protected by magic. And Breath of Titania. Breath of Titania. Okay, I guess. For a moment, I thought it's something that dispels poisonous vapor, maybe. Or that Breath of Titania is the spell that allows Aura and Gondo to breathe freely, because it would make sense, right, from the name Breath of Titania. But apparently, it's a spell that leads you to your goal. Wouldn't a more apt name be like, what's it called? Thread of Ariadne? Right? Something like that? I don't know. Kinda odd, but whatever. Whatever, plenty of spells in MMOs that have completely nonsensical names, so I'm not gonna be too hung up on it. And we're gonna reach the capital soon. If they submit, fine. If they resist, show them the power of Nazareth, just clap them and be done. And gonna go back with capital reclaimed and job done. Frost Dragon. I wonder how strong that Frost Dragon is actually gonna be. Or is it like the nerd dragon from the opening that we see, the dragon with glasses, and it's just gonna cower before Ainz and is just gonna instantly join Nazarick? Honestly, I could see it going either way. Depends on whether they want to go for like a boss battle episode or for a more comedic episode. Or rather, boss battle encounter or more comedic encounter, because I doubt it's gonna take a whole episode. To the north of the Azerlistia Mountains over there, quite a few living frost dragons. Do you know the name of the dragon that really controls nature? Not its name. Yeah, she was about to research that. Did she have such a long face in the season 1? I don't remember. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Yeah, it's probably cuts taken from season 1, so it wouldn't surprise me if it actually was the case. I'm not sure though. I'm not entirely sure if it's a rendition of that, or is it actually just cuts taken straight from season 1. Yeah, she was originally going to check when we went back to town, indeed. Zannen da yo. Zannen da yo, indeed. Idi, 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 idi. That was episode 6 of Overlord Season 4, and again, I had fun with it. I really did enjoy this episode. I really did enjoy the interactions with the dwarves and seeing the dwarven civilization. I love the aspects of civilization building, of nation building. Again, as I already said, I love the fact that Ainz recognized the potential of runecrafting where everybody else didn't, and that he's trying to build something, that he's trying to build a powerful nation by taking all those elements, perhaps unwanted, and bringing them to their full potential. I would like it if that was actually the theme, right? Where he finds some technology that seems to be forgotten, that nobody utilizes, and he sees the true potential in it. Like, I don't know, the lizardman fish farms maybe can be scaled up super well and feed the entire nation, for example, right? Or maybe when he meets dark elves, they're treating some plant as a complete weed and it's useless, and Ainz sees the potential to create some potions with it or something like that. I would really enjoy if that was the case. If Ainz was to travel the world and from each nation he encounters, each race he encounters, take something that's unwanted by them but would really help elevate the sorcerer kingdom. What else? I'm waiting for the scuffle with the dragon. That's going to be interesting. Especially interesting to see in which direction are they gonna take it. Right? More comedic or more combat heavy, or what they're gonna do. That's gonna be cool. And I cannot wait for Ainz to bring the runesmiths to the Sorcerer Kingdom and to establish them somewhere, and that's gonna be great. And perhaps come back to the Adventurers Guild already being full of adventurers, just raring to go for adventures. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to how the Sorcerer Kingdom is gonna be built up and it's gonna be developed. That's probably my, again, probably my favorite aspect of this show so far. Anything else that needs mention? Kinda bummed out about those runes. How they really did their homework with Thorn, but they didn't do their homework with this sword. Unless the name of this sword in Yggdrasil is actually also gibberish. Maybe. I don't know. Tell me what that sword was originally called in the light novel, and maybe I'm gonna figure out if it's the same. It probably isn't. Let's be honest, it probably isn't, because as I said, some of those runes were just other runes but flipped out upside down. One of the runes was a combination of two other runes, so eh, eh, doesn't make sense. But yeah, that was really just that single little nitpick. I guess my other nitpick would be, why did Aura decide to not tell Ainz what happened to the Death Knights? Did she just find it amusing? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It will probably come to light in the next episode, or maybe not. And maybe Ainz is just gonna constantly have it in his head that there's some powerful monster out for his head, which won't be great. I really don't like it when misunderstandings just go on and on and on and on and on. Fucking hate that stuff, and I hope to not see that in Overlord. I hope for all of that to just be straightened by Aura in the next episode, or in the vicinity thereof, or by Aura, or by Ainz just not giving a fuck. Oh, the strong monsters are no longer there. Well, I guess they're no longer there, not my problem. Right? Something like that. I don't know, could go either way. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I have anything more to say, so I'm just gonna be waiting for the next episode. And I really, really, truly cannot wait to see more of it. I'm really loving this season so far. I really am. And do you guys love this season so far? Do you love this episode or do you not? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, just don't spoil me anything, please. I beg of you. I don't want any spoilers, but other than that, any thoughts you have on the topic, sure, go ahead. Throw it in the comments. If you want to talk spoilers, there's my Discord, also link in the description. You can join the Overlord channel and talk spoilers there by using spoiler tags. I'm not gonna read them, so you're free to spoil anything you want. Like this video if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Overlord Season 4 but also Madoka Magica, Symphogear GX, Yofukashi no Uta, Ruby Ice Queendom, Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, and anything else? And Disco Elysium. I'm playing through Disco Elysium as well, so if any of that strikes your fancy, subscribe, click the bell to get notified, you know the drill. You can support the channel, if you want, monetarily on Patreon and Throne, links in the description. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka Magica, like Symphogear, like Disco Elysium because I treat it as a non-seasonal, and for just a single dollar a month you get a role on the Discord and you also get a place in the credits that you're gonna see very, very shortly. And there are also other tiers to pick and choose from if you so desire. On Throne, you can pitch in towards my purchase of some new gear, like a new camera, new lighting, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, there's also a way to help the channel by sharing my content, spreading the word. The more you guys share about my stuff, the more people join the channel and the more people watch my stuff and subscribe. And that really, really helps in the long run because YouTube knows that, hey, some other people might want to watch those videos, and some natural organic growth is always cool. Anything else? Join my Discord, free to everybody, completely open, so feel free to do that. And right now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only such is your desire.